Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melina. I do videos about makeup, plants, my life, and travel. But today we're going to talk about the most popular, the most loved plant by most of us plant growers, the one and only, the Monstera Albo.
Monstera Albo Borzigiana.
Monstera Albo.
This is my Monstera Albo.
This is probably one of the most popular plants.
They're just going to be more expensive unless you can do a trade with someone.
The wonderful, the beautiful, the coveted Monstera Albo.
And today I'm going to show you all my Monstera Albo collections, repotting, chopping this plant up, updates, everything that has to do with Monstera, how to make all of these babies out of the one plant that I bought back in 2020 that started it all. And if you guys want to know how to do all this and information, everything to know about the Monstera Albo, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you guys already fell in love with my personality, you can follow me at Melina Glam on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and I believe that's it. But without further ado, let's learn all about the Monstera Albo. Okay, you guys, before I start the video, I'm thirsty, so run to your fridge, get you a drink, a cocktail, beer, wine, whatever. So good. Okay, guys, like I said, we're gonna talk about the Monstera Albo, and I know every plant person knows about this plant, has this plant in their collection. It's so popular. It's like the #1 plant that everybody used to want back in 2020 when the pandemic and all of us got into plants. This plant was the most sought out, the most popular. It was so expensive back then. This is the plant that got me into my plant craze. I got this plant on eBay. I did not pay the prices that it's being sold now. Back in 2020, I got this plant for a whopping $270 plus shipping, which was $12.99, $182, almost $300. And I know you guys are probably like, what the hell? Like right now they're like $50 a leaf, which is great. I'm happy that all of us can get this plant now, but back then it was crazy. It was easy growing. Back then when I started my plant journey, I grew everything in soil. As I watched more videos, I just decided that soil wasn't for me. But yeah, at first I got it with 2 leaves. Then I had it on a moss pool. It developed a third leaf. Then from there, didn't like the soil and I took the moss pole out and I decided to grow it in leca. Then it took off. This plant is very easy for me, easy care. In the leca, I don't know how it would be with dirt because at an early stage in my plant hobby, I decided that dirt wasn't for me. So literally like all the plants that I have in dirt, like within a month, I transferred to leca. Every single plant because I don't do worms. Worms and insects and pests and me don't go together. Ew, I can't do it. So I grow everything in either sphagnum moss, pond, leca, or water, or a mixture of all the above. I got root rot a couple times. I just cut it off, put it back in leca, and I'm very lazy. I'm a very lazy plant parent. With that being said, like I made a moss pole one time and this plant was growing on it. It attached to it, some of it, not fully, because I didn't really moisten the moss pole like I was supposed to. So it didn't grow like I wanted it to grow. Like it never sized up the leaves. Yes, this is the biggest leaf it produced. It never got any bigger than this. This is literally the biggest leaf. So with that being said, it was time for me to extend and add a pole, and I really didn't. I think I just like DIY like some chopsticks and like added more moss and kind of put another pole on top. I never gave it a full pull because back then, like, I didn't really know how to make poles, or I was just lazy. I think I was just lazy. Yeah, it was my fault that this plant never grew beautiful and lush like the other ones. I decided to cut this plant. In February 2021, I made the first chop of this plant because it got big. The plant that's on my intro, that's the plant that it grew into, that 2-leaf cutting that I bought. That's how it grew, and I was liking how it grew. But then, you know, I got in a breakup, my first breakup, so I neglected all my plants. So I never kept the moss pole wet, and I would not water it all the time, so it lost a lot of its foliage. I like would just chop the top cuttings because it was getting too top heavy and I didn't want to extend the pole. I was lazy and depressed. So I made the first chop in February 2021, and like it rooted in water by February 2021. Same year. It only took a month. I think I did like 3 cuttings. One died. One grew really pretty and I gave it to my mom last year. I got a couple cuttings. 2 cuttings made it and then one died. It kept growing. I didn't like how it was growing because of my neglect. It was all stem and it was missing a lot of leaves and it wasn't sizing up. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna chop everything. And this is fast forward to this year, March, I chopped it this year. So all these that you see right here, minus the square, are my big Monstera that I grew. And that's the chop. I decided to chop it, prop them in water, and guess what? They are ready to go. They're rooted, and even from that chop, I already made more chops. I have babies here that have sprouted from the first chop that I did back in March. So I did a second chop of them last Saturday. So this is like grandchildren already. Like grandchildren. I know, and I also have more plants in my cabinet. These little babies that you see right here are literally node cuttings. And these were just part of the stem of the Monstera. I literally grew them in a cloche. I have a video of planty updates where I show the cloche and you could see these rooting just in sphagnum moss in the cloche. And literally they grew up in like 3 months. They already have sprouted babies. Right now it's been 4 months. So this is what 4 months did, just growing in sphagnum moss and pon and flubostratum. So you can grow Monsteras off of the wet sticks. Don't be fooled. Just make sure seal the corners of the plant with wax. If you don't want rot while growing this, if you want to be successful, make sure you use candle wax or hot glue, any type of glue there, so it stops the rotting in sphagnum moss, because sphagnum moss and this being really, the sphagnum moss needs to be really wet. This needs to be really humid for the little nodes to take off and grow little plantlets like this in about 3 months. So I literally kept the cloche closed most of the time. I would open it like maybe like twice a week. That's how I grew these little plantlets, because literally it was a stick, a wet stick, and it didn't have leaves. And now I have 4 little plantlets. And this one's very variegated. It's mostly white. I don't know if y'all could see, the light's kind of bright. I'm sorry. It's mainly white with some green. It's very pretty. And then we have some other ones that are green. So yeah, you guys, all these plants were from my big plant that I got back in 2020. I have children, I have grandchildren. Yeah, this plant has gave me a lot of babies. If you're thinking about getting a variegated Monstera, I would. It's very rewarding as soon as you grow it. Let me show you. As they grow, they develop these little roots right here. Can y'all see? They develop these little roots, and then you can chop it right here as long as it has a node and it has leaves, or even if it doesn't have leaves. As long as it has a node and a root, you're good. So that's how you can multiply your plants. Look at you guys. These are so pretty. Look at that leaf. Okay, this is an Aurea. Don't look at that one. This is so pretty. Then we have half moons and mintiness. This is another half moon. And look at this one, you guys. They're all different and they're all pretty and they all have different variegation. Do I regret getting the Monstera Albo back in 2020? No, because it gave me so much joy back then. It started my plant journey and it taught me how to propagate, make babies, and I just love Monstera Alba. Okay, you guys, now that you know the backstory and like where I got my Monstera, the prices and everything, let me show you the chop that I just did back in March and how I chopped it. And then on the next video, we will repot all these together, make a lush Monstera Albo bush with a moss bowl and a few other ones that I might have for sale. So yeah, let's roll the tape. Ow, not my hair, roll the tape. Variegated Monstera mother plant. She's like bald. She's yellowing. You know what, fuck it. Let me just, out. Oh, before you chop yourself. Ah. Fresh chop. Yay. Am I being greedy? Okay, well think about this one. Oh my god. I'm doing so many chops. Okay, you guys, so I cut a lot. I'm still feeling scissors happy. I'm gonna continue cutting her and finding the nodes. So yeah, so as y'all can see, right here's a root, and the growing eye, or the little pimple as people call it, is right next to it. So when I cut, I just select and see if there's gonna be too much white, a little bit of white here, and I'm just cutting, and hopefully I don't fuck up and revert this to green. That'll be bad. I'm looking for a more wider specimen. Let's keep cutting. Oh my god. Okay, so this one is gonna be marbled. Some of the growing eyes are woody, so I don't know. Ugh. The stem is so thick, you guys. That's what she said. This part of the Monstera is so white. It looks like a candy cane. Oh, this part is very, very, very white. So I'm thinking that's why I neglected her, and since there was so much white here, all the white leaves died off. So this is gonna be pretty much like a stem propagations. Yeah, I chopped her. I'm sad, but we'll see. I hope you liked the video. If you guys have any questions about growing these Monsteras in water, how I propagate, if you have more in-depth questions, please do reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm the most active on there. I also have Snapchat. And yeah, on the next video, we're gonna repot these and we're gonna make a lush bush of Monstera with a moss full. I can't wait. But yeah, you guys, thanks for watching. I'm Melina and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye, guys.